Hello, my name is Crystal Petry, and you are watching another episode of the Crystal Petry Podcast, Season 4. What does it take to commit to something so fully that quitting is no longer an option? Today's guest, Dave Pygon, completed one of the hardest Ironman races in North America in 2025. But through injury, darkness, exhaustion, and relentless hills, he was guided by one powerful mantra: no exit ramps. As he prepares for another Ironman in 2026, Dave shares what endurance really teaches you about life. So, welcome to the podcast again, Dave Pygon. How are you?
Hi, my friend. How are you, Crystal? How is that wonderful state of Texas doing these days?
It is doing amazing. It's a little cold out here. Cold for us.
Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
say cold for us, but we made it through. How about Chi-Town? How's Chicago treating you?
We're blessed. We're lucky. And I listened to your podcast with John Mitchell the other day. It was wonderful. So
Yes.
continue. You're doing a great job helping all of us with the content and the people you bring on. So kudos to you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I just want to thank you really quick because of you. I had John Mitchell on and he was amazing. His insight was absolutely needed. And I know so many people will benefit from that conversation, including myself. But let's talk about you, Dave. Last year in 2025, you sent me an email and told me that you were doing the Ironman. So for those who may not know, what is an Ironman competition?
Sure. An Ironman, a full Ironman is 140.6 miles. And it consists of 3 sports. The first one you start off with is a 2.4 mile swim. And you've got 2 hours and 20 minutes for most of the Ironman races to complete the swim. If you do not do it in that time frame in the open water, these are usually done in the ocean, lakes, or rivers, you are disqualified and you go home early for the day. After that, you jump on your bike and you bike 112 miles. From the time you put your toe in the water, and if you get to the bike, you have to be off the bike in 10 hours and 30 minutes. If you make that time and you're off the bike and you've completed your 112 miles, you then run a full marathon, 26.2 miles. So full marathon after the swim and the bike. And ultimately, you have to be done with all 3 sports in totality in 17 hours, or your UDNF, they call it, do not finish. So that is a full Ironman. And this is the first time I've ever done it. So I started training when I was 54, and I completed it when I was 55, the actual race.
Why? Okay, before I get to the why, how did this come about? How did you go from one day, maybe not thinking about an Ironman, to the next day, I'm going to do an Ironman?
A couple things. I was always the guy who said, I can't do an Ironman. I'm not going to do it. I'm an ex-athlete, just like you, but I'm not a swimmer. I grew up in the city. I didn't even really know how to swim. I could swim just to be okay in it, but I couldn't really swim when you get your head in the water and you're breathing and that kind of stuff. I self-taught myself when I was 50. I'm not very good either. And I made all these reasons why I wouldn't do it. But when I hit 50, and this goes to a totality of my why, is I really said, you know what? It's time for me to do things that are experiences that are hard, that I'm not so sure I can do them. One, I started my own business, Pygon One Consulting. I left corporate America. Now, granted, I spent all my time with mostly corporate America or small, medium businesses with what I do now, but I took a chance, right? I gave it all up to start this. Then I also said, hey, you know what? I want to write a book. I don't know what I'm doing. have never done it before. I'm going to try it. See how we do. Same thing with the podcast. And then I had the opportunity to go on a military base when I was 54 years old in the summer. And I got to watch graduation of the military. So vastly impressed with them. It was incredible. I was so inspired and motivated after being there all day that I said, you know what, I'm going to do something that's really hard, that's going to challenge me mentally and physically. And I said, screw it. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to start training for the Ironman. This was July 1st, was day one of training. The race was going to be the following year in 225 in September in Madison, Wisconsin. So I had 61 weeks to train for it. And I finally just said, you know what, no excuses. I'm a below average swimmer. I'm not really a biker either. I mean, I'll bike. You and I, Crystal, biking around the neighborhood, great.
Right.
I'm not a bike. Like, I didn't know anything about power and watts and RPMs.
Me either.
Yeah. And that's a whole nother thing because you have to, that's a whole nother thing. And then also, I've never run more than 8 miles in my life. I was a basketball player. Ours was all about acceleration.
Correct. Yes.
So I had to learn that as well. So I said, the heck with it. I'm going to go for it. So I did.
Okay, so your why. Now, you have done a lot of things in your life, Dave, that most people probably wouldn't just do. So you quit your job, which a successful job.
Yep.
You wrote a book, which you've never done before. You've done an Ironman, which you've never done before. All of these things, in my opinion, are very hard things, are scary things.
Mm-hmm.
So what inside you encourages you, pushes you to do these hard things?
Yeah. So I think as you age, I think, at least for me, as I aged, I realized I want more experiences. I want to do different things. I want to try different things. My kids are older, and that really was the crux of it, of wanting more experiences. But the other thing is, I always ask, even at Pygon 1, and even when I was leading teams and people over the years, I've always asked people, what are their priorities? What are their strengths? What are their values? What are their motivators? Now, we're not all motivated every day.
Correct.
You'd be lucky to be motivated part of the day, right? That's where discipline and habits kick in. But we do have things that motivate us. And one of the things that motivates me is I love doing things that most people won't do. I find that empowering. I find that really cool. I just do. And it's not about me against them, because the Ironman and writing a book, it's all about you versus you. Mm-hmm. Writing a book, I mean, these people who make a living off it, they're the anomaly. They're the exceptions. Most people I read, 90% of the people who write a self-help book sell less than 250 copies.
Okay.
So writing a book is all about you. It's about you wanting to do it, you wanting to accomplish something. It's about you being against you. That's really it. Same thing with the Ironman. Starting your own business, fighting through some of those ceilings and plateaus. It's about you getting through the challenges that are in front of you. And that's really, when you put it all together, kind of recreated me in the last 5 years. I just turned 56. That, I want to do all of these different things and try them. And again, that is a motivator to me, to do things that maybe the average person wouldn't do it. And it's not about being better than them. I could care less. I'm a Chicago South Side. Like, I don't really care. Like, it empowers me as I'm going through it that, hey, some other people might quit now. You keep going. Mm-hmm. That's all. It's a motivator. We got to find that stuff, right? When we're going through hard times, you got to go to that place that can get you through it. Because I would argue, right now I go around, whether it's video or the country or even globally now, talking about not just the Ironman, but how do you do hard things? Like, they're hard. Yes. They're hard.
They are.
The principles of the Ironman and start your own company and write the book, they're the same. getting through discomfort, getting through boredom, getting through moments of frustration, having patience, trial and error. The word I've been using a lot lately is tinkering. Tinkering with, okay, I'm struggling here. I can't break through here. How do I get there? Like, how do I do that? Same thing for the person who right now is a teacher and has a hard time with the administrator they're working with, or the student, or the parent, or the business person right now who's trying to grow their product and market share and whatever they're selling, and they're struggling right now. Competition is fierce. The industry's causing some issues. How do they fight through that, right? Patience, tinkering, trial and error, discipline, mental toughness. Keep pushing. Don't quit. Same thing with the Ironman and all this other. It's the exact same thing.
Wow. So you finished your Ironman in September of 2025 in Madison, Wisconsin. What was your very first thought when you crossed the finish line? Because you did finish the Ironman, so that needs to be talked about. You finished the Ironman. So when you finished, what was that very first thought?
Oh, it's so cool. Pride, proud. You're exhausted. You're super tired. You stop. You see your family, your friends. We're all hugging. It's emotional too. I didn't cry. Some people do. It was just a great feeling. Because again, I said earlier, it was 61 weeks of training, 6 days a week. The weekdays weren't bad. Monday was always I probably was the happiest. I call it in my book the Sunday blues. Many people have Sunday blues where they're like, I got to go to work. Me, I don't really have Sunday blues because Monday was my recovery day and rest day.
Okay.
I didn't have to work out. All I had to do was sauna, stretch, that kind of stuff. So I loved my Mondays. But the Tuesday through Friday weren't the real long workouts as you got closer. It was the Saturday and Sundays that were long, the Saturday bike rides that were 4, 5, 6. And then the longest bike ride ultimately was 7 hours in training on a Saturday. And then the runs, which got longer, 2, 2.5 hours, 3, 3.5 hours. Those were the long days. During the week, those are usually an hour to 2 hours, manageable if you prioritized it and, made some flexibility, meaning sometimes you got to get up extra early. Sometimes you had to do it after work. So you just pieced it together, friend.
Right. So when you crossed the line, this is a 2-part question for you, Dave.
Sure.
What was your time when you finished? And what was the emotion that hit you the hardest? I know you said you didn't cry. Was it disbelief? Was it relief? What was the emotion?
Yes, it took me 15 hours and 50 seconds to finish. Between each of the sports, they call it transition. So when you go from the swim to the bike, I enjoyed my transitions. Like the real Ironman, they get that wetsuit off, they dry off real quick, and then they get some nourishment, and then they go. My transition was, I took way long. I took 20 minutes.
Okay.
Transitions.
Are you supposed to take that long, or how long do they give you?
These women and men are moving. A lot of them. Not everybody, but the real ones are. But I was coming off an injury, so I stretched. I wanted to make sure I was dried completely because it was pretty cold that day in Wisconsin. It was around 45, 47 degrees that morning. So getting on the bike with that temperature, I wanted to make sure I was completely dry. I wanted to make sure my nutrients, and I wanted to make sure I was stretched out. I had a couple foot problems, so I want to make sure that was okay. And then I went. And then when I got off the bike, it's kind of the same thing. My legs were so tight. I stretched. Most of these women, man, they're just rolling. So I took a good 40 minutes in transition when you can find the two. And that added to my time. But Crystal, here's where I'm going with it. I didn't really care about time. This race was my race. It was me against me. It wasn't me against you if you were racing or anyone else. It was just me locked in for me. My goal was 2 things. I wanted to finish, and I wanted to finish somewhat healthy. I didn't want to be hurt for 6 months.
Right.
So I wanted to make sure I did it the right way for me. And I think I wanted to share with whoever's out there listening to you. Isn't that the same in your life? If you're raising kids, it really shouldn't be like you against the neighbor's kids.
Correct.
It's you and your family. That's it. And same thing at work. Crystal Petry, the reality of it is this amazing podcast you have. I mean, Joe Rogan's great, but that's really not what you're trying to do out there. You're trying to just invest you and progress and continue to you against you, and you're getting better and better, and you're growing people, and it's getting more popular. Like, that's amazing. Like, that's really what we all should be doing. And that's what I did in the Ironman. It was just me against me. I walked from mile 17 to 21 because I knew I was going to make it. Time was on my side.
Yes.
And then I ran the last 5 just because I wanted to make sure.
Is there a time cutoff that you have to make? 17 hours.
So I had plenty. I had an hour and 10.
Yeah, absolutely.
In fact, I let a few people go. Someone shared with me, we were like, Dave, when you finish, try to be the only person that goes under the finish line for your picture, if you can remember. So I let a couple of people get ahead of me and made sure there was really nobody behind me. So my picture, when I went through it, I had my arms up. There was no one behind me. It was only me.
That's a great idea.
It was a great, you never would thought that. The other thing is, we mentioned tinkering. Away from just tinkering, the growth mindset, the learner, the amount of things I learned. One of the things I learned was you start the race, you leave your hotel in the morning, it's very dark. It's 5:30 a.m. getting to the race because you get in the water, around 7:15.
Mm-hmm.
But for those of that, it's going to take some time. We don't finish the race until it's dark again. So part of the run, it's completely dark out. And we ran through a college campus for part of it. It is really dark. And they warned you, like, you got to manage your anxiety and stress. I don't want to say depression. That might be a little too much drastic. And don't want to be disrespectful for those poor people that have mental health issues.
Right.
But you do get a little sad. You're like, oh my God, it's dark. And I got 3 or 4 hours of running to do in the dark. And it's really dark. It's not like it's the city of Chicago, Dallas, Houston, or New York, where there's lights all over. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, it's dark. So those kind of things, but I was prepared for it. I'm like, okay, I was told about this. I get it. This is a little weird. It's completely dark. And we started in the dark.
And did you finish in the dark?
Oh, yeah. I finished. I got in the water at 7:20 a.m. in the morning. Mm-hmm. I let all the fast swimmers go ahead of me. I think officially the bell goes off at 7, and then old speedsters went. And then I finished at 11:10 p.m. So most people had breakfast, lunch, dinner, and they were sleeping by the time I got in the water and got out. But I will tell you, friend, you can't think of it that way. I would say it's no different at work when you got that project, that there's a time constraint, there's pressure, a little stress, and you've got to be done by 6 o'clock that night of this project, and you're starting at, say, 7 to 8 a.m. because it's tough. Mm-hmm. You can't overwhelm yourself. You just got to go. I got to get to this point by 10 a.m. Mm-hmm. I've got to get to this point by lunch. Once I get through lunch, then midday I got to make sure I'm at this point. Same thing with an Ironman. You've got to just go. I said for myself for swimming, I went one buoy at a time. I didn't think, I'm going to be in the water for almost 2 hours.
Okay.
I'm going to swim 2.4 miles.
Mm-hmm.
You can't think that way. At least I can't. I don't recommend people to think that way because I think it's too overwhelming. And it can be a little bit of a buzzkill. Same thing at the beginning of your day. If you look at your desk and you go, oh my God, I'm going to be here 10 hours today. That's not a great mindset to start. Mm-hmm. You're probably not putting your best way to position yourself to have a successful, joyful day.
So what are you thinking, Dave, when you're in this water and you're swimming 2.4 miles, when you're biking for hours, when you're running 26.2 miles? What are you thinking? What is your mindset?
Well, remember, you're training your mindset during the journey. The training, I will tell you too, some of your audience might not know this. There's no music or audiobooks or podcasts. That's not legal in the Ironman race. Excuse me. So when you're in the water swimming, there's no headphones. When you're biking, there's no headphones or phone. When you're running, there's no headphones or phone. It's just you and your mind and your brain. That's it in body. And then the other racers are with you. Mm-hmm. So literally, when you talk about the mental game and the mindset, yeah, there's no Born in the USA rocking and rolling in my ear as I had during the preparation, as I waited in line for the race. I did have music at that point, but as soon as the race goes, you are just you and you only for the next umpteen hours. So you are thinking, focusing, and task at hand. Mm-hmm. I was just focusing. I'm in the water. I get a little anxious in the water. Like, I'm just not a water guy. I don't love it. I'm just not super comfortable underwater and the breathing thing. It's just not for me. Some people are calm, cool, and collective under the water. I don't. I get a little anxious. It takes me a while to get a rhythm going, and I use the word rhythm loosely. Mm-hmm. So I was just focusing. Don't stop. Keep going. Don't stop. Keep going. You practice this. You prepared for this. You've been training for this. You got this. Keep mm-hmm. going. Keep going. Keep going. And then I got hit. I got kicked.
What?
At about 400 or 500 meters in. And then about another 100 meters later, I got hit with somebody punched accidentally. They didn't mean it. Nobody.
Right.
And because there's a lot of people swimming.
Mm-hmm. And they're really close together, right?
Yes, and you got to do 2 laps in the lake. So those fast people who started, they were going to pass me up mm-hmm. at some point. But for me during the race, when I got hit both times, it was amazing for me. It really was. What it did for me was it basically said, game on, let's go. It got my competitiveness really came out to another level. Not, oh, I want to fight this man or woman who hit me. It mm-hmm. was, they're competing. Dave, yes. Just because you're a below average swimmer and you aren't really good at this, nor do you like it, that does not mean you're not here to compete.
Right.
Go. If you get hit, who cares? If you hit somebody else, who cares? It's all unintentional stuff. Because hitting people, all that does is slow you down. So they don't want to touch me and I don't want to touch them. But it just happens. Mm-hmm. So that really, though, propelled me and got me going during the swim. That really helped me and got me through it. Like, let's go. Let's go. So it's very helpful. So it is a mind game. The bike is relentless. You're on there. I was on the bike for 7 hours and I think, was it 23 minutes or 28 minutes? It's relentless. The hills are relentless. You're like, it's an emotional roller coaster. What I mean by that is you're going pretty hard. You feel good. And then you're like, oh my God, I got another 5 hours. And then you get going again. You get your mindset right. You start daydreaming about something. You start thinking about something. And then you look like, oh goodness, I still got another 50 miles. And then your mind wanders and you got to fight it. So for instance, where we used to live in the city, mm-hmm. out to my mom's was about 20 miles. So sometimes you'd think and your mind would start to drift. You're like, oh my goodness, this bike race is going to my mom's.
Yes.
Back. Yes. To my mom's. Back. To my mom's. And then halfway back. And you're like, oh, then you shake your head. Like, you can't think that way. It gets too overwhelming. You have to go things like, when is the next bathroom? Or when is the next area to get a drink mm-hmm. or supplements? Think that way. That was 1 mile at a time. Or when am I going to get to the next 5 miles? Little short, which I would say, Crystal, and I know you and I've talked about this, everyone listening who's got goals, especially if they're for
yes.
the year, looking for those short goals, those micro goals
Mm-hmm.
within the big goal, as well as micro successes,
Yes.
small successes.
Yes.
That's what I did. I'm like, oh, I just got to this mark. Boom. I just got to this mark. Same thing in the water. Same thing in the run. Now the run's differently. The biking is just relentless. It's tiring. Your legs tiring. You're in the aerodynamic position for so long.
Mm-hmm.
It's relentless. It's the best word I can use for it. The run is just sort of painful. Your legs, you get tired. There's pain involved in the run. You feel good, and then it hits you. Especially, I had feet problems. I had plantar fasciitis. I had peroneal tendonitis. So I had some things I was managing through it. It's just painful, and all the runners out there know that.
Which one of the sports was the hardest, and which one of the sports was the easiest for you?
Yeah, none were easy because I don't like any of them really. I'm a CrossFit guy. My
Mm-hmm.
wife and I, we love to do fast bursts, sprints, lift weights, that kind of VO2 stuff.
Mm.
We're not into this endurance, and these are obviously all endurance.
Right.
So I don't really have one I liked, and I think that's what I'm so most proud of. I don't really like any of these things. I don't like running long distance. I find it very boring, and I don't even think it's good for you, to be honest with you, that long. I think it's bad for your body. Just my runners out there, don't get mad at me. That's my perspective. Biking that long, I think biking's really good for you. I don't think it's really good for you for 7 hours. That's my perspective. And then swimming, I'm just uncomfortable. So I would put in this bucket, because I get this question all the time. Swimming was a head game.
Okay.
Trying to get that breathing down, trying to get comfortable in the water, for me, that was the challenge there. Because some people get out of the water, the good swimmers, and they're like, that was great. It was relaxing. I got going. I'm good. I'm ready to go. And I'm so jealous of those people. Gosh, I'm so jealous. The biking is just relentless. It just doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. And you got to make sure your nutrients you got to be taking in your carbohydrates and your sodium on the hour, or you're never going to complete this race. That's the fourth discipline, is nutrition. You miss my plan was 80 to 110 carbs per hour and around 500 to 600 milligrams of sodium. We tested it, and that's what I needed. I'm an immediate sweater. On a real hot day, I would up it if it was hot, but it wasn't that day. But that's a big part of the race. You can't get brain fog and lose focus mentally and not do your nutrients.
Are you allowed to bring your nutrients with you, or is this at a stopping point throughout the race?
Both. They have stuff for you if you like. You also can carry it on your bike. Plus, in our shirts, we stuff stuff. Yeah, whatever we're wearing, or our shorts, whatever we're in. So that's very common too. Just depends. It's personal preference, but that's a big one. So the bike's relentless, and then I'd say the run it just gets painful. Right? Your legs, after such a long period of time, around 11, 12, 13 miles, it just gets painful. Right? I mean, you're fighting through it.
Did you have an emotional high during this entire Ironman? And what was that feeling? What race were you in when you had that? And did you have an emotional low that was extremely low? And what race were you in during that?
Yes. Again, I'd hate it to the world, most people that are listening to this, because when you're working 7, 8, 9, 10 hours a day, if we think about our days, no matter what we're doing, we have parts of the day where we get that second wind and we're very inspired and motivated, and we kind of get a little bit of a high. And then we get other parts of the day, we get the lulls. For whatever reason, something hits us. We get the phone call, the text, there's problems maybe at home or with a client, and it kind of brings us down. Sad, or maybe mad. Same thing in the Ironman. It's up and down all day. The swimming, again, swimming's it's a technique sport, and I don't have good technique. So that to me, there wasn't so much of an up and down. It was very focused, like trying to swim properly and control my breath, emotions. So that one was just staying in the moment for me because I had to. Because I wasn't good enough to start daydreaming very much, which makes it very long. I would say you have absolute moments on the bike where you'll get overwhelmed and you're, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. I can be out here this much longer. I would tell you a high. I got a big high after the swim. When I got out of the water, I'm like, I think I'm going to become an Ironman.
Yeah.
Because I had the time. I was ahead of what I thought I was going to do. I was exhausted. When you see a picture, you can see I was super tired. But inside me, I was like, I've got time to give. I'm ahead of schedule. Because as an Ironman, just like people at work, you are planning your day. I mean, you are at Pygon 1, in my book, I talk about I am planning every minute on the hour. Like we're efficient, we're effective. That's the Ironman. You're planning on, okay, I plan to be out of the water here based on all my practice. I plan for transition to be this. And that's why I could take more in transition, because I made up a little time in the water too. So that changed my plan. I was going to be 10 minutes in transition. I'm like, oh, I'm out of the water 15 minutes faster than I thought. So I took an extra 10 minutes. I'm still up 5 minutes. I'm good.
Yes.
So you do that kind of thing too, right? Just like at work. If you're behind, you got to pick it up a little bit. If you're ahead, you can add on to your schedule, or you can kind of slow the pace down a little bit. Same thing, same principles, right? That's why there's so many learnings from Ironman and work to Ironman. Show me someone who doesn't come prepared to work. I'll show you someone who's probably not going to be great. Show me someone who doesn't come prepared at an Ironman, unless they're superhuman, they're going to have a tough day, like a really, really tough day with a good chance of being disqualified and taken off the course because they didn't meet their time limits. I had the darkest of dark moments was the bike had its moments where you're like, oh, this is brutal. This is so boring. Oh, this is just never ending, right? A little pity party that was going on is what I called it. The run, though, had a moment around 11, 12, 13 miles, started to get dark out. Couldn't feel my legs. I'd even yelled at people. I'm like, I turned to the crowd. I'm like, am I moving? They're like, yeah, you're doing it. And I'm like, it doesn't feel that way.
Yes.
I couldn't feel my legs at all. So that was, I would say, dark. And that's when I saw my wife and some of my family. I'm like, you got to tell everyone to line up. Every mile, I got to see a happy, smiley face to keep me rolling. Which, at work, shouldn't we be doing that work, Crystal, when things get a little rough? Shouldn't we pick up the phone and say, hey, Crystal, man, I'm going through a little dark moment at work. Give me something.
Yes.
But we don't. We just suck it up, and we plot our way through it, probably not as good as we could or as effective as we could, and we just do it. Or maybe we kind of slack off and we don't do it like we should. Whereas maybe if I called my friend Crystal and said, hey, yeah, I'm going through a moment, my friend. Give me some advice, or a coworker or a peer.
Yes.
Same thing.
Let's talk about your brother, Dave, and his support, being there for you, your accountability person as well. And then talk about your community that you built around you, because yes, you did complete the Ironman in September of 2025. And I just want to keep relaying that. You completed the Ironman, but you had such a great support system around you that allowed for you to complete the Ironman.
Yeah. Oh, the Ironman's mantra is anything's possible, which I love that. Anything's possible. Here's where I'm going with this. Most Ironmen say they don't cross the finish line by themselves. They don't do it by themselves. They have a support system. I call them my tribe. Like my brother, my wife, Al, who's on a text chain. Al, who's a doc from Harvard, and my brother, who's a doc here in Chicago. They don't know Ironman, and they don't know it inside and out, but they do know me, and they do know nutrition well, and they're smart guys and they're tough guys, so they can really support me going through the journey in different ways, not necessarily like my coach could on the skill sets of learning power and watts and how to extend on my swim, those kind of things. So my wife, the empathetic one, the understanding one, who she'd leave for the gym in the morning, I'd be on the bike. She'd, run errands, go see her mom, do her thing, and I'd still be on the bike. And she's just like, people are like, oh, where's Dave? And he's like, oh, I know exactly where he's at. He's on his bike in the basement on his smart bike. And then she'd come home, check in. How are you doing? You need anything? My kids, they walked with me or ran with me for part of the race at the end. I was in the street and they were on the sidewalk. It was great. They're like, you're doing great, Dad. I'm like, hey, talk to me. Tell me anything.
Yeah.
Keep my mind off my
what
legs.
you're doing. Just run.
So that's the support that we're talking about. And so many times at work, I think we all talk about this. And that is our inner circle.
In life too.
In life as well as at work. I would just encourage people. There's data out there that supports having a best friend at work is very, very good for people. It's actually good for the longevity. People that have a true best friend at work, they tend to stay at those organizations because that person there is really vital for them. I would just encourage them, people that are your peers at work or colleagues, are they empathetic with you when times get hard, or are they sympathetic? And I know early in my career as a leader, I think I was sympathetic at times. Bad. Just bad. Crystal, when you're going through something really hard and you need to get through it, if I'm sympathetic, I'm letting you off the hook.
Right.
If I'm empathetic, I'm like, oh, Crystal, man, yeah, that's rough. Tell me more. Okay. What are you thinking? How are we going to get through this, Crystal? What are your ideas? What's your vision? How do you see yourself getting through this? What can you do?
And what can I do?
And then eventually, how can I help you? How can I support you?
Yes.
That's empathy. But many times at work, yeah, that's right. Crystal, the boss, she's always too demanding. She wants this now. She just raised our quota. Poor me. Might be true. Not saying it's not. All I'm saying, though, is at some point you need that person in your life who can say, hey, that's the hurdle.
Yeah.
No one asked you if you liked it. But I learned from the military, and I love this one. Fair is fair. Whatever comes your way, fair is fair. So when you're in that Ironman race, when you get hit with the dart, or the legs that don't move, or the cramping, or the extreme pain, fair is fair. This is what you signed up for.
This is what you signed up for.
Us parents out there, when we whine about the kids because they don't sleep or they're fighting us on doing homework or whatever it might be. Totally fair. I get it. With that said, though, this is what we signed up for.
This is what you signed up for.
At work, we all have agency. And things, it's still called work, so we're going to face bad things. And that's why the Ironman is so good for me, because now I can talk to my clients about so many things that I've learned, trial and error, tinkering, fighting through some of these things. I'm just better at it because of the Ironman experience, because of the book. You write a book and you're like, oh my God, I just spent 4 hours, and you read the next day and you're like, I got to delete it all.
Oh.
It was terrible. It was terrible. That is so hard for an author to do, is when they invest so much time into it and then they have to erase it. So
let's talk about 22 days before the race. You get injured, Dave.
Yes.
What happened? And at this point, for me, I feel like I would be just like, you know what? I'm injured. I'll just do it next year. I'll just do it in 2026.
Yes. Yes. you put so much into it. And as I've said to everybody, I'm writing a new book now, and I've got a chapter on belief.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta believe. Anything you jump into, you've got to believe. You're raising those kids, and you're like, one of them, I don't know how they're gonna make it. You gotta believe.
Yes.
It doesn't always have to be 100%,
Yes.
but it's got to be above 50. When you're going through the Ironman for the first time, at least my experience was, I believed I could do it. Was I 100%? No. I don't know how you could be. How do you know what your body's going to do or not do after all of this demanding training? How is your stomach? I mean, the other thing we didn't talk about is your stomach, after taking in all these gels and drinks and bars, I mean, every hour on the hour, it doesn't feel great. Like it just doesn't. Right? The body's not. That's not normal. Now, granted, you did training, but remember, your biggest training day might be 7 or 8 hours. This is 15 for me, or almost 16. That's double the amount of nutrition. So I never did nutrition that long.
Mm-hmm.
When I got injured, I was on my indoor bike. Indoor bike meaning it's a smart bike, and it connects to the computer, so I could actually ride the course, and I could feel the hills on the smart bike inside my house. It's amazing. The technology is wonderful. I did the 100 miles. Took race is 112, but this was 100. I got through 100. It was about 7 hours. I come upstairs. I tell my wife, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to be able to do this. I was so excited. I then went outside. I had to run a little bit, so I ran 1.5 miles after the bike ride. I was so excited. Took my shower. We had friends coming over that night. Our friends that we love. They're the best. And about an hour later, my feet, especially the one, blew up. Couldn't walk. I mean, in fact, I couldn't wait for my friends to leave and their wives. And I love them. We love them. They're the best.
Mm-hmm.
But I got cranky. I had a scarcity mindset, which is this: if I don't have feet, I can't run, I can't bike.
Correct.
Do this race. I'm literally limping around the house in pain. So I was negative, felt sorry for myself, all that stuff. Human nature, just like we all do. Went to bed, woke up in the morning. I said, okay, I got to reach out to my tribe. Went to my brother, went to my coach, talked to Rugia, mentor in this, called my sister-in-law, who's a physical therapist, met her in the afternoon. I got a plan. Before you know it, by the end of the day, we had a full plan. My sister-in-law, who's an athlete, runner, she's like, I know you're not going to stop. I know you're going to try to get through this. I get it. Here's what I think you have: perennial tendonitis, plantar fasciitis, and it looks like the pain you're having is probably you've got some neuroma in your feet that you're dealing with. So that week, I got my acupuncturist Melissa involved. I went to a special muscle fascia person to help. Rested. All I did was swam that week. And then on the following weekend, I started biking just gradually. And I took a couple more days and I just did some light running on AstroTurf and just got myself prepared and just spent the last, 20, 15, 10 days just preparing myself mentally and physically, rehabbing, getting ready for the race. And I got to the start line and I'm like, okay, I feel pretty good. And we'll see how it goes. But it was always in the back of my mind about, okay, that's why the transitions were a little longer for me. I'm like, okay, I'm going to stretch extra. I'm going to take care of myself a little bit. Because the only thing that was going to stop me was me at that point. I went too hard, went too fast. And
so one of your mantras, Dave, is no exit ramps.
Yes.
Talk to me about that in the span of this Ironman race, but also in life.
Yes. My friend Casey, who's my coach too, good friend. He was the one who came up with that. We actually got shirts that win the 16 on the front, and on the back it said no exit ramps during training. And it was simply, Dave, when you get in the water, there's no exit ramps. You're going to spend the whole day doing this. That's it. That's what your Sunday is. You will get out, then you will go to the bike, then you will go to run. When you're done with the run, that's when you can exit. Until then, that's it. Your simple swim is you get in, and then you get out and head to the bike. There is no exit ramps. That's it. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful mantra for all of us to think as we're going and doing things that are hard. No exit ramps. No exit ramps. We're going to find a way. Our children, because there's the challenges, problems. Okay, no exit ramps. No exit ramps. And it doesn't mean not to have emotions. It doesn't mean not to have feelings. It doesn't mean that we have all the answers. It just means we're going to stay in the game. Keep fighting. Tom Brady, I always use an example, whether you like him or dislike him.
I like him.
It's all about consistency. He's like,
yes.
Talent is wonderful, but ultimately it's the consistency that people do over and over. And that's kind of what the exam is. Keep battling. It's 10 o'clock and you're at work and you're like, oh, I got no motivation. I have no inspiration. I'm in the middle of something I keep doing. Stay in the game. No exit ramps. You got this. You got it. Didn't say it was easy. Didn't say you'd like it. But if you can minimize those emotions, those feelings, and wash them, you'll eventually get that rhythm going. And before you know it, now it's noon. The other one I talk about is the dinner philosophy. When you're going into something at work or whatever it might be, and it's really hard. Heck, maybe it's a family party you don't even want to be at all day. Dinner. You can make it to dinner. You can make it to dinner. Think about it. Visualize it. See it. The other thing a lot of people talk about, and you see in books, and I'm sure there's other books that talk about this too, I just don't see them as often, is they talk about visualize finishing the goal of what you're trying to accomplish. Like, see yourself. I'm so on board with that. I had a picture of a finish line on my phone, in my office, in my car. I had it in a plethora of places. And I'll tell you the other thing, though, I did. I visualized the challenges.
Mm-hmm.
I visualized, what if I do struggle in the water? What am I going to do?
Right.
There's all these little canoes you can go on there and lean if you need to. You can tread water. You can get on your back and just float for 30 seconds, a minute. Get your ball bearings. On the bike, if you have a problem, your chain falls off. What do you do? Okay, here's what I'm going to do. On the run, what are you going to do if you cramp? What's the plan? What are you thinking of? So I was visualizing some of the challenges that I might have during the race.
Mm-hmm.
No exit ramps.
You are, as we wrap up, Dave, you are getting ready to do this all over again.
I know.
In 2026, you're going to do another Ironman.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us when this is happening, where it's happening, and why. Why do you want to put yourself through this again?
Fair question. It's a great question. Many of my family members, and one of my sons, Jason's like, what are you doing? My oldest son, Tyler's like, why don't you go on some trips or do something fun? And they're not wrong. They're really not. I don't disagree with that. I'm back to training again. When I say I took off, I took a week off to rest my body, and then I was lifting and gradually starting to do some swimming. And then I started in November training again, slowly but surely. And then race. I'm going to do Wisconsin again. It's just too convenient for the family and friends because it's 2.5 hours away. Plus, it's one of the harder ones in the United States, in North America. So I don't want to do one necessarily easier. Mm-hmm. So I want to stay at this level. And that is September 14th. So just almost basically it's 51 weeks from when I did the last one. And why I want to do it is, for me, this is nothing to do with anybody else. For me, I think we all can do something once.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to tell a story about doing something back to back on something that I'm not really good at and that I don't really love and like. Because at work, a lot of times we're asking employees and leaders and people like, Hey, win this year. Be special. Do something great. Win. And then the year gets over, and what do we say to them come the next year? Hey, Crystal, do something great this year. Win again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know it's even harder this year because your competitor's got a brand new product. Oh, I know the market's not great, but we need you to do something special again. So I'm going to try to do something special again, just like all the people listening out there, the nurses, the doctors, the lawyers, the construction workers who are building amazing houses and homes and schools. Like, they're day after day having to do special and great things. We need them at their best every day. We can't
Yes,
have,
we do.
we need that foundation of that house built so it doesn't fall. I'm going to do it. I think it'll be a great chapter in my book that I'm writing another book, and it's going to be called Back to Back. I'm going to learn a lot. Already early on in the process, I'm sore, so that it's probably I didn't fully ever recover from the first one, is my guess.
Mm-hmm.
This one, people ask, "What's your mindset like?" I said, they're like, "Oh, you're probably so confident, you can do it." And I said, "It's interesting you say that. I got two things going on in my brain. One, I do have more confidence. I do think I can do this. The downside is it's terrifying because now I know what the pain is like.
Yes.
I know the scary moments, and I can feel it. It's like touching fire and burning your hand. You never forget that feeling. That's what I'm going through here. Is like, oh God, yeah. And I got to block it out. I got to kind of remove it. I've got to try to minimize it as much as possible and get that negative, fearful mindset. It's okay to have fear, everybody. Like, we all have it. What we can't do, though, is let fear dictate our daily lives as well as our future. And that's where courage comes in. And courage has to overcome and say, hey, I get you're afraid. I understand. But you're going to do this, and this is how you're going to do that. It's kind of where I'm at, because I can tell you, I know exactly what it's like feeling the pain during training, and I know exactly like some of those moments that I daydream about what it could be like.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know what it's like.
Yes.
So that's
and
what
yet you choose to do it again.
Yeah, I think it's going to help. I think it's going to be really good with the book when that comes out. So once I finish the Ironman in September, the book will come out in December or January.
Mm-hmm.
So I think all of it put together will be a nice groundswell to get people excited about it, tell some really good stories, the differences, the tinkering, the patience. And I think it'll just really flow very nicely. And I think, again, proving you can do something not just once, you can do it again to yourself, I think is pretty empowering. But I'll let you know, I got to do it.
Yes.
And I got to do the work. And
Yes.
there's days where I know what the training is like. I know what's ahead of me. Like, oh my God, I got to get up to 100 miles on the bike again. So.
Yes. Dave, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and walking us through this excruciating journey that you have completed.
Can I say one thing before we sign off?
Yes.
Hey, everybody out there. It's just an example. Age, I get it. As you get older, we're slower. We're not as strong. All of that. Maybe we don't sleep as well as we used to. Like, all that stuff. Like, I get it. Whatever you're thinking about doing, everybody out there, I would just encourage you to go for it. If you fail, you fail. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. My guess is that you'd be surprised. I'm guessing most of the time the things that we want to try, we'll probably find a way to get through it. Because that competitive spirit everyone has out there, and that brain that's actually getting smarter by the day with all the experiences, you'll probably find a way to get through some really hard stuff or difficult stuff or experience things. Throw age out. Like, age is a number, man. We're getting better and better.
Yeah, we are.
But we're getting better and better.
Yes, we are. And I will add to that, Dave, something that my Chicago friend told me several months ago. Win at the hard things.
Amen.
Win at the hard things. You told me that, Dave, and I still remember that. And I still put that forth in every single thing that I do. Win at the hard. So again, Thank you so much for being on the podcast. Congratulations on finishing an Ironman in 2025. And I'm just going to throw it out there. Congratulations on finishing another Ironman in 2026.
Oh, don't jinx me, friend.
No jinx. You got this. I believe in you, Dave. You got this. To my community, thank you so much for tuning in and watching. You can get Dave's podcast and all of my other podcasts on YouTube Podcasts and Apple Podcasts. And remember, you always have time to listen and learn on the go.